Good morning, Liverpool, and what a day it is. Everton step out onto the pitch at their new home for the very first time.
So here we are at the Winslow. We have numerous memorabilia on the walls here. We start here with the Holy Trinity, of course, and our great manager, Howard Kendall. This is from Manager of the Year. These are all signed, and this is the actual Holy Trinity here, the collage, which the famous statue is down on about 100 metres from here. So this little section here is Cup Winners' Cup, 1985. So you have the shirt, and you have Kevin Ratcliffe with the trophy, signed by Kevin, and then Peter Reid the same. So that's just basically that era there, which was a great night in Rotterdam. I didn't actually get through it myself, unfortunately. Then we have Kevin Campbell. Kevin was a regular here. Kev just came in every time he was doing any media work. He'd be one of the first customers in here. He'd come in like Dapper Don. I mean, he was always, and you see the picture there. That was a photograph in 2017. He came in at like 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Strolled in, big beaming smile. I said, Kevin, man, you look amazing. Get behind that bar and I'll take a photograph of you pulling a pint, which we have on there, but never did I think inside 8 years he'd be gone, you know? Shocking. And we've that off memory of Kevin, yeah? Gone but not forgotten, yeah, great man. The Winslow predates Goodison by 6 years. So the Winslow was built in 1886. First game played at Goodison in 1892. So basically since the first ball was kicked in 1892, right up to the game against Southampton for the men's senior team, fans have been coming here. It's in Everton's DNA, to be fair. So I was about 9 years of age, and I was just, as a kid I used to read a lot of books, and I picked up a book in the library, and there was a chapter in it about Goodison Park, Everton Football Club. It was a Liverpool-based book, and Dixie Dean, and that just tweaked my interest in Everton Football Club. A few months after that, my mum was doing a clear out in the attic, and she finds that, well, there's an old radio up there from the 1950s that my grandfather used to have, and I saw on the dial Radio Merseyside, and I thought to myself, I'll be able to pick up the games. So I could pick up the signal ever so faint, and that was me hooked. I've been an Evertonian ever since that day. So I had a pub in Ireland, and obviously I'd been an Evertonian for a very long time, since childhood. And a friend of mine who I met on the train to Nuremberg in 2007 when we played Nuremberg. I lived in Germany, so I was going down on the train, and these random Irish lads got on the train, Evertonians, and I cranked up a conversation and stayed friends with one of them. So you fast forward, and he was at a game here at Goodison, and he knew the pub in Ireland was struggling, and outside the door here there was scaffolding, and there was a builder's name on it. I contacted him, threw my hat in the ring, and here I am. But if I didn't meet the guy on the train, I wouldn't be here now. Law of attraction.
So this is the oldest Everton programme I have in my collection from the 1953-54 season. The significance of this season is it was Everton's last season in the second division. That was the season we got promoted back to the top division, and we've been there ever since, alongside Arsenal, we're the longest serving teams in top flight football in English history. The 1966 World Cup was played here behind me at Goodison Park, and I went to all 5 games, so I've got such vivid memories of what a fantastic time that was in my life. So I saw Pele play here, I saw Eusebio play here, I saw Lev Yashin go for the USSR here. As it turned out, all the best games in the World Cup were actually at Goodison Park rather than at Wembley, and it was just, for me, it was just absolutely a fantastic experience on every level. I've been going to games here since I was a young kid at primary school, so it's just filled of so many memories, happy occasions, sad occasions. It's been my life since the 1960s. When you were a kid, you woke up dead early in the morning, you couldn't wait to get to the game. So, and you kind of went through phases, initially I used to come with my dad, and then eventually when I got to the age of about 12, 13, you come with your friends. Yeah, I can kind of track my life and development as an adult through my relationship with Everton Football Club and through Goodison Park. You can look back and think we could have done this, we could have done that, but part of me doesn't really care that much, because being an Everton fan isn't just about winning things. It's about being an Everton fan. It's about being a part of the community. It's about being part of the culture. It's about being imbued with the DNA of the club. So even if Everton were playing in the National League, I'd still be a fanatical Everton fan. And I think that's the difference between us and fans of a certain other team. Everton fans always take pride in the fact that we think in the city there are more Everton fans than Liverpool fans, that we're more closely associated with the club. Community is a massive part of this club, and even this pub here, the Winslow, you know, on a match day it's packed, but it also serves local communities as well. And I think, you know, we will lose something by moving to a new stadium there, but we will build a different type of history as well.
So Goodison Park means pretty much everything to me. It's the place where I met my boyfriend. It's the place where I've met most of my friends. It's the place that's kind of now given me a career. So the atmosphere at Goodison is, on its day, absolutely electric. It makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when the players are coming out to Z cars, and you know, when the fans are roaring and getting going. Yeah, it's incredible, and nowhere really beats it, to be honest. So my first experience at Goodison was in 2007. When James McFadden scored against Charlton, and I was at the back of the Gladys Street, but I can just remember like the celebrations and the noise and things like that, and you know, thinking I want to keep doing this. I want to keep coming to Goodison and celebrating goals like that for, you know, forever. What I'm trying to capture on match day really with my camera is just the realness of it, the realness of the emotions, the realness of like human interaction, the community, just everything really, from what I kind of see it as my point of view, because a lot of it started from my walk up from the train station to Goodison Park, and it was like, you know, there's certain people that I knew along the way. You know, it's so embedded into the local community, and into people's families and into people's lives, that Everton really is everything for a hell of a lot of people. And you know, it's massive. It means everything.
It's In Demand Decades, Saturday afternoon, Saturday Sport. Graham White with you through until 6 o'clock tonight. We've got some big games of football in the Premier League. No Everton or Liverpool this weekend.
That first experience was unbelievable. Going with my family, no better feeling than walking towards Goodison Park, past Stanley Park, to the ground, actually going in the ground and actually seeing Goodison, the inside of Goodison, and looking around and just thinking, this is a special place, the atmosphere, unbelievable. Wasn't good enough to play for the club. However, I was able to take another path, and that was to go and work for Everton Football Club and then get the dream job of announcing the teams, which is pretty special. The first time was against Watford. I had more nerves than I've ever experienced before, but then you open the microphone, you read the Everton team, and once you shout that first name on the team sheet and you hear the crowd's reaction, you think, yeah, this is great, I'm going to enjoy this. And I was able to.
Everton coming off number 23, Seamus Coleman, to be replaced by number 22, Ben Godfrey.
And I give it passion as an Evertonian, so I'm not just an announcer announcing a goal scorer. The fans can hear my excitement, my energy, because I'm excited, I'm happy, and I know from speaking to players over the years with regard to this, it's part of their goal scoring celebration. They score the goal, they let the crowd go up, and then they hear the announcement come over the tannoy to hear their name, and the crowd erupt again. And I try and do that with passion, or I did with passion and energy as a football fan. It was tough. I won't deny that, because I'd been a part of Everton Football Club for 29 years. In fact, I'd been a part of Everton longer than I'd been married. It was disappointing, but I appreciate, like in life, things change, and you know, things have to change, and things change for a reason. I miss it immensely, but I'm an Evertonian, so I miss doing the job of being a stadium announcer. Goodison Park, you know, it was a special place, it was a special job. Yeah, I'm going to miss it. I'd love one day to get that phone call and be invited back to do something. You never know. You just never know.
Currently sat in the greatest stadium of the Premier League, I think. It's been a journey to get here, and it's amazing and just a beautiful view. The atmosphere is just going to be second to none, and I don't think that would be just because it's the first game. I think that's ongoing. Atmosphere at Goodison has always been praised and spoken about in the media by fans, by opposing fans, and we're going to bring this here, and to have a purpose-built stadium that elaborates that sound and that atmosphere, I've got no doubt it's going to be the best. The emotions I felt of leaving Goodison, I felt like I was leaving a part of me behind, so that's why not having to say a complete goodbye and it's still there just keeps that in-family moment for me, and the emotions of going to visit it and still work there myself is like a nice comfort blanket. This club means everything to me. I think from generations of handing down season tickets and has always been quite special. We're a family of blue, but the most special part was just inheritance of this kind of role from my nan. My nan started off all the history of Goodison Park, starting the tours, and before that she was in hospitality. My mum obviously was Miss Littlewood, so that's all kind of filtered down, but now being able to carry on that legacy just makes it that additional purpose and emotion connected to it. As an Everton fan, Everton's special, but as an Everton fan working for the club, it's kind of like a dream come true. You can help shape and mould fan experiences and what you want the club to look like, and hopefully that you can do your club proud. So hopefully I'm doing a little bit of that now.
I'm Graham Holmes. I've been an Everton supporter for 55 years. I've had season ticket for 43 years, and Everton means everything to me. The first game was when I was 6. It was a game against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the European Cup. Went to penalties, apparently the first European game to ever go to penalties, and we got through. And then after that, a month later, my dad took me against Southampton in the top balcony, and I just remember walking in, seeing this massive big field, all these players, and really like strange sort of feeling. And we won 4-1, and the year after he took me to Southampton again and we won 8-0. And I thought it was one of those where it was going to be like that every week. That was my earliest memories as a 6-year-old, and then over time I've just gone to numbers of games every season. I'd been to the 1,000 games at Goodison, which was including reserves and youth games and internationals and so on, but I wanted to do the 1,000 games with the first team. We were meant to play Liverpool on my birthday at home, but Liverpool got through to the 6th round of the FA Cup, so the game got moved, and ironically it meant that when it got rescheduled towards the end of the season, it was not only going to be my 100th Merseyside derby, but it was my 1,000th Everton home game. I think the stars aligned that night because we actually won 2-0. First time we beat them at home in 14 years, and it was a brilliant night, great atmosphere. So that was brilliant for me that night, to actually do the 100 Merseyside derbies and to do the 1,000 Everton first team home games. If you've never been to a football game before and you don't know what the stadium's like and you don't know how many people are there, then it's an unbelievable experience really. You walk up the steps, you see all these people, you see the green pitch with all the markings and so on, and it's just like completely different from what you've ever seen in the past. It's a great feeling in a way, and like when it's your own club, it's even better. So walking up there on the last game of the season was sad in a way, because I knew it was going to be the last time I'd ever do that walk and ever go into my seat in the stadium. And it was sad as well, to be honest, because it's a place where everyone's got memories. You've been to the game with family members that are not with us anymore. Dad died 8 years ago, so obviously he wasn't there. And I remember going to games with him as a young child up until about when I was 15 or 16. Now that we're in the new stadium, I would like to see success come back in the fact that I'd like to see us qualify for Europe. And I think if we did this in '84, we'd never won anything for 14 years. Once we got that first trophy on the board, the belief was there with the players, with the fans, with the management team to go on and do different, to do more. I think we can move on and get back to the top of English football.
I think what makes Everton unique is the love the fans have for this club, and I think the respect that the players who play for this club have for the fans as well. Alan Ball had a famous quote from the 1960s where he says, "Once Everton has touched you, nothing else is the same." Now, we think we are a unique club. We think we have a unique fan base. We still think we are the #1 club in this city.
Evertonians are, I would say, a different breed to other football fans because they wear their football club. You know, you talk about wearing your heart on your sleeve. Evertonians wear the club badge on their sleeve. When you go to the game as an Evertonian, it doesn't matter who you sit next to. They're your family, and that's what makes Everton very special.
The match days we've had over the years have been fantastic. The derby takes it to another level. The build-up is pretty much the same, 3-4 hour window. You know, people come in and it's a slower build-up and then come to 2 hours before kick-off. It's pretty rammed. You know, every derby we've had here, obviously we haven't got the results that we wanted, but the atmosphere has always been great, you know, the build-up. But there's nothing obviously can compare to the last game of the season. Oh, that last game of the season was just unprecedented, you know.
There's a lot of people who are probably a lot wiser and a bit more knowledgeable about Everton and also about Goodison than I am. It's great history, there's some great stories, and obviously there's been great managers and players who've all performed here. I'm just the one who's going to shut the door on the way out. It'll be sad when it goes, but we're moving into something which we think will give us a bigger and better future.
So the final day at Goodison Park was a bit of a manic one, to be honest. I think anyone that was kind of here on that day will kind of testify to that.
There was no precedent, so you didn't know, like, there was nothing to go on. You could look at the busiest days you had in the past and say, well, how busy is it going to be? And I knew from the inquiries I had it was just going to be off the charts.
I got a phone call from a good friend of mine, Dave Kelly, who runs the fan supporting food bank stuff, and he was like, how would you feel about being up a ladder on top of a wall? I'm someone who's absolutely terrified of heights. Getting up there, I was a bit nervous, but once I'd kind of got up there situated and things like that, like the view was amazing, just all the way down. Every single street around Goodison was just a sea of blue. There was
100,000 people around Goodison, right? And they were on our doorstep all day long. It was absolutely insane, and the weather was beautiful. It was a great day. There was nothing to compare to it, like.
The noise of it, the view of it, everything was just absolutely incredible. And you know, I loved being up on that wall and just being able to take in all the different kind of atmospheres and things that were going on, and seeing all the different people and faces that I knew from down the years, and you know, people stopping below the wall to kind of say hello and things like that. But yeah, it was just crazy.
I was there on the final game at Goodison Park, and funnily enough, I went in the position or in the stand where I used to go with my family. So it was a full circle, you could say. Going as a kid and going into the Bullen stand in the Bullens Road, and then watching my final game there, it was quite special, quite emotional as well.
The club put these scarves on in everyone's place, and when the teams came out, everyone just held the scarves up like that, and it was just a good, unique way of commemorating that final game. The scarf is full of memories, the programme's full of memories, Goodison Park's full of memories, this pub here is full of memories, so it's a case of adapting to the new future and making sure that the new Hill Dickinson Stadium gives us as many fantastic matches, memories and plays as what Goodison Park has done to me over the years.
You know, Everton and Goodison Park has been here for, 133 years now, so it is a massive change for a lot of people, and you know, the local people especially. So it's going to be a big adaptation for everyone, really.
Goodison Park was an emotional journey. It really broke my heart a little bit to say the goodbyes, but I think we closed it in such an honourable and emotional way. And I think that the fact that we've handed it over to Everton women, and it can be the most iconic stadium in the WSL now, is so special to Goodison. And our movement up to here, right on the Royal Blue Mersey, it's perfect. It's the story that has moulded itself in the best way. We haven't had to say a full goodbye, but I think this is what we need. This is what we've always wanted in terms of that progression and that visual to everyone else that we mean business.
Well, you knew it was the end of an era, didn't you? Because no matter what way things go now or going forward, you just knew that the footfall of 40,000 people is gone, and I knew it was going to be a struggle going forward. But as an Evertonian and just looking at it from a football perspective and put myself in the shoes of all the loyal fans and customers that come here, I've often used the word gut-wrenching, because that's exactly what it was, you know. It's just the whole, like, generations and generations of fans. That match day ritual is now gone, coming here. I say it's gone, but we are running coaches, so we're trying to keep it alive, but it's going to be difficult, you know. Nothing's going to pick up the slack from 40,000 people on the doorstep. Look at what it was to what it is now. I mean, it's night and day, isn't it? Is it the end of an era, the end of the line? I don't know. I'd like to think it's not. If we end up closing, which is a possibility, I just hope it's fondly remembered. I'm sure it will be.
It's going to be real mixed emotions. I mean, I think trauma is probably a much overused word, but it will take a lot of getting used to not coming to Goodison Park anymore. Realistically now, Goodison Park is gone for the men's team. So Everton have to create a new history, a new heritage at the new stadium. So it's onwards and upwards almost. So really sad to leave Goodison Park, but it's a new opportunity for the club. For Everton fans, we have to get back to where we believe we should be. That's regular European football, challenging for honours. Nothing would commemorate this first season better than Everton coming back with a place in Europe and either an FA Cup or League Cup as a trophy to have on display at our new stadium.
Good morning, Liverpool, and what a day it is. Everton step out onto the pitch at their new home for the very first time. The Hill Dickinson Stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock. Brighton provide the opposition, but all eyes are on the Blues as they turn the page, saying goodbye to Goodison Park and beginning a bold new era.
It's an annual season support. Come on, Everton!
I'm proud to be an Everton fan. I'm proud that my son's an Everton fan, and we just really hope that this tradition continues and that Everton will go on to be a new version of Everton, but a very successful version of Everton in the new stadium.
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to experiencing is seeing the new generation of Evertonians find that connection with Hill Dickinson Stadium that I had with Goodison. Goodison Park will always have a big place in my heart, but I want to make that relationship with this place as well. They have got to bring the older generation of Evertonians on that journey to say this move to a brand new shiny stadium, it will be okay, and it is the next step in our history journey. So come and do it for me.